loso dataringa charana sangan Dorji tubi tezumgi chido acharana yakabnan kegi la lopta tezumbe chidumi tezum da tedan chotepe yakab chili jumi la loplenge de nambi chidumi karalu tambarangari katole chombali soda tashidili shuni.
With warm greetings, Your Majesty giving Your Eminence, Rinpoche, Your Highness, distinguished the representative and religious heads from different schools, different Buddhist schools across the world, distinguished speakers, Buddhist practitioners, thinkers, presentators from across the world. We would like to warmly welcome to this gathering of the 5th International Vajra Conference in Bhutan.
Tangachara, Chitangi, Tisegi onto jete, Talojule Shamashaba, Tangachiki, Tachu, Kara, Gondumiam Lenlutentunia, Watansa Imbe, Tanigi Bondigi, Tiki Chuki Kunduntachi Shube, Deta, Detan Gondumiam Lengi Kule, Lojudumtachi Shunise.
In the interest of time, amidst the gathering of all the practitioners and thinkers, as the Vajrayana Conference brings the both practical and theory, and in the interest of all the practitioners, I would like to impart a guided or a practical demonstration based on the Vajrayana meditation techniques.
다 담방아처라 남비 추군 좀쯤에 와진 대다자기 담바 대상계셔저 투바기 대 추기 콜로 림바 숨라서 보고로 제사치로 대된다 주도와진 대대주적이 타바니 수도 있어.
In general, Buddhism was expounded by the universal teacher or the Bhagavad Buddha Shakyamuni. And irrespective of the profound teachings or the Buddha Sasana he has founded, it can be summarized into two, the Sutrayana and Mantrayana, which both can lead to the salvation or liberation.
다리람 딜로 주체이기 태바세 냐람 딜로 잡아 상안도지 태바세 대상기기 추풍기 지지동 톰체 아니 주제기 름바기 도진 다니 니노도 이세.
So these two yanas or these two fundamental aspects leads to the path to the liberation. And number one, the Sutrayana or the foundation path, it emphasizes on the completion, it emphasizes on the perfection of the cause and conditions, whereas the Mantrayana emphasizes on achieving the goals or the achievement, which means a resultant.
다 딩일로 어린놈 생이 태바사 녀놈 셀라고미도 좀치기 빼치셔버진 빼낭아처럼 깡타기 저바기 날려도지된 좀치 조고사처로 딜로 가림지고네는 대띵아처럼 가르나 좋아진 가림집에 휘나 다니 좀배기 켜봐유 대때날에 나로 좀집에 사처로 기대기 좀바기를 텐데 대 기대 고만로 해방래 대남존나 주저도 좀치게 켜봐윤디기 대renam다냐람기 켜봐슬람미디 좋아니.
These two methods forms a gradual process that can lead to the liberation. The Sutrayana is a gradual process. For example, if we want to visit the Buddha Gaya or the Buddha Sasana in Vajrayana, we can travel in two modes of transportation. If we travel or if we walk on foot, we may reach somehow, but it may take time. However, if we take or if we travel by aeroplane, we will be able to reach faster. So based on this, Sutayana can lead to the Buddhahood, but it takes time. Whereas the Mantrayana, it is more faster, which includes both the Upaya and Prajna that can lead to reach the liberation faster.
Dari ngagi de rinam digi nesu na mila so nga che shenzom di de nyalam sanga doji tebe kolegi de ten so uteben digi de sanga ge kolegi lo juchi ma shuni se.
So without further diving deep into esoteric practices, would like to emphasize, would like to touch brief on the Vajrayana perspective. Is this gathering is focused on Vajrayana meditation, Vajrayana conference based themed on science, mindfulness, and meditation.
Ngagi kordir zumche besachiro jagraphabi ki pentop sugi te gidegi stanye gi namba jajo dilo te khaba lesha yu lalu gini be jame lalu ke sum be jame jire jame ngaraj dinto yawa la soba lesha yu te tinro yonso tabata gide jejabe onto che in te tenale gide tambo chagi chugi nejo gide sugi lojo etari mesho se nejo lameda de lojo chishunise.
Vajrayana can be divided into many categories depending on the perspective of different schools. In general, Vajrayana or the Tantric can be divided into 4 Tantric. And without going details on the first, second, and third Tantric, His Eminence would like to touch on the Super Tantra, Uttarayana Tantra.
Da ne jola me da de loji de sumchi besachiro tamba jubarachiba minche onle gutsukti ya treche gi dambe pargi parlo lamge rimba lesha yu de yesachiro daringa charana tu tukuchina tesukara labgobe lojo mendo de tare zo gondru nyamlenda dewa de ya treche gi tidigi rimba le dumta chishunese.
Again, in the class of Uttarayana Tantra, again it can be divided into the development stage and the completion stage. The development stage is primarily focused on ripening and awakening of our inner wisdom, and in a gradual process, and it can lead to the ripening or the accomplishment of the completion stage. So this would be little further elaborate on the completion stage.
Da zo ngachara gondru nyalimbe mesuda dindigi da tidigi lojo shuni de tidigi lojo zumchi besachiro de da chitang ngachara gidesu gi sheba nembe kapsu tumon lo choshe de tumon mayemba lo lobshe se tigirimba ni yu de dari ngachara na mimman gara de gyumimba tama mimba karachi kabe bendiki choshe gi drube de da
Now, in the development stage, it is important to get accustomed in the basic meditation or the realization of innate wisdom. As the gathering brings all the international and the local participants, irrespective of dim and fit or fit. So, in order to make wider sense for all the participants, His Eminence would like to touch on the common approaches that is applicable to all the practitioners, irrespective of beginners, intermediate, or advanced practitioners.
Da lobshi tumo mayimba de shugoba jin de tele sanga kore lamgi jugo onle gutsu de tele nale ngyonto gi chule rimba jinto ngyonto do sauda de nyuji gi titi tabe shugobi Din Sachiro Karata Gondonian Tentoni Mezazame Tumongi da Gom Shila Gomtab Dorji, some Chitangagi Namashunis.
So in the completion stage, as there is the practitioner the practitioner needs to be deemed fit or needs to receive the complete stages of transmission and instruction. So in order to have a holistic approach or to start with a gradual process, His Eminence would like to give a guided instruction on the development stage and the completion stage for the beginners like us today.
Tani tumungi onto jete shuwajin te tambanga chara penangom rupti nyamso lembalu nyendo zum chibe sachiru chi nyendo nangi nyendo ta sanyi nyendo serimbaji toibi tani chinangi nyendo desugi sajongdi ta toto sachi te sajong trupsayi onto jete jabebe te shintu tumun mayimba sanyi nyendo tambaranga chara yunga yisungi ne chukha chabni chi gondrubyoda anel maabe rinpoche to Dorji shunise.
Now, in the common practice, among many common practice, the most basic practice that the practitioner needs to partake is the preliminary practice or the ngendo. And if we go through first stages to the fourth, it may take time, but let us assume that we have completed the first stage, and next stage is to purify or to stabilize our body, speech, and mind. Now, in order to stabilize these three doors, His Eminence would like to impart a guided teaching.
Penangacha Liu Zumchibe Sachiru, Liu China Sansumgi Chaye Yamba, Nga Zumchibe Sachiru, Nga China Sansumgi Chaye Yamba, Sem Zumchibe Sachiru, Ani China Sansumgi Chaye Yamba, Ani Lu Yamba, Nga Yamba, Sem Yamba Zela, Yana Lu Ramba, Nga Ramba, Sem Rambas, Tamba Joradi, Anar Mabe Kutsukti, Tema Nijilu Rimbajin to Tabe Shugoze.
So in preparation, our body, speech, and mind should be well fitted, or it should be make a dim vehicle or dim vessel in order to receive the teaching or in order to practice the ngendo. This body, speech, and mind, they are the most crucial thing that the practitioner need to advance into the practice. This body, speech, and mind should keep away or should stay away all sorts of distractions, disturbing emotions. And in order to keep away, this mind should be stabilized so that it led the body and speech to function in a wholesome activities or in a correct way.
Luigi Chigi Chawas Milika Chalom, Pena Lugi Nachara, Sochaba, Machinlam Balasuba, Migi Chawadi, Jago Paja, Nangi Chawa, Tabu Bewashim, Tomni Chatsin, Kura Chamni, Anizum Sojago. There's someone Zum Chubang Alakara, Lunindi, Namna Chudin, Yo Mebachi Chashina, Dani Rigeltar, Namigi, Lundan Sugitali, Mikeba Chudin, Rigeltar, Yo Meba Jamichi. The
function of body, speech, and mind can be again categorized into three: the exterior, the interior, and sacred. In terms of exterior, it's quite easy that we should abstain or refrain from committing harm or violence through our body. And in a sacred, in a profound practice, when we sit down or when we practice, it is important that our body should be in the 6 or the 7 positions of Vairocana, the practices. So these are the functions that our body needs to maintain during meditation or during practice.
Sangwatana ugi dongan zamloe te padasu kararang jingi u nemzulo chokakane meba te socho payu zambeane bezamili te ngadigi chena sansumgi chaye yamba animchigi toleja gongobi inse.
And second, in terms of speech, our speech should be free of slander, lying, in gossip, in physical, and in sacred, in internal. Even while reciting or even while breathing in and out, our speech or the speech should be mindful. We should be able to focus the breathing in and out, or we should be able to focus while even uttering a tiny or one single syllable of the mantra or the prayers. So these are the functions that our speech should be maintained while in practice.
다니즘베 셈세로 이세로 아니즘 집에서로 이기 나선뉴선 라소바 미기님 파자 기 심기 근도 자자외 봐 타나 셈디기 레베지미지 나라 베사미기 라기 뛴다 코인 하다만다 마음비 dim미스생알레 마음비 차지적 말라마다 코인 야마섭지 다다와라 발란조제메 봐서 곰셈이디 로조기 아님제레 노란기 포스기제 dim메도 셈코리라진 도수 유마 법 칭이가 이미들로작 곰니마도 마차라 로기 때 포스우게 되자니민디기 상와 다다와 디좀집에서 주로 조 다다와래 때 조제다저 아니 셈딜로 치나 상승기 자에 얌바들로 셈 얌바이 이 람바베 디 이미오 셀럽사주루디 다마란 차잡디 땡년도 조고 내가 잘 취지다 버린 부지게 자자 첨부 공대 술용하기게 좀 마망세 숨미디 조 안에 술로 공대 송소위
Now in the mind, in general, in any practices, our mind should be free of wrong view. The wrong view and the covetous and any that thoughts that bring harm to yourself and to others should be abstained. And again, in visualizing or in any practices, the mind is the main moderator, or it is the main engine that can lead the body and speech. It is said that if the mind is stabilized, or if the mind is well purified, well settled, or well maintained, it is spontaneously going to lead the body and speech in the wholesome activities. And also this mind, it is the one who drags us back to the past. Again, it is the mind who leads us to make castle in the air, thinking and planning for the future. However, coming to the practice, we should neither look back to our past nor plan activities in the future. Instead, we should focus in the present moment without any distraction or without being disturbed by any disturbing emotions or any kind of circumstances. So if this body, speech, and mind are in this discipline, then we are able to practice in a very correct and wholesome way.
다나레 데 곰니지도 휴방알레 데랑라 소소기 메바다 뛴디 데 담바 데틴 질루 땐디 곰니 탄데라 데틴 간네메바 이 기카나도로 곰니 게름바 니유 데벤나도도 다투문기 온도 제데 데 가라로 다 곰니기 치도 다 땐치기 온도 제데라 바진 다 랑기 둥기는 팔로 데 생기기 때비치 베마니레 덴체세다 아니기 때나로 다자기 듬바좀메사자 토바 콘도스르 좀면도 다보 시지 차니 에선의 인념자 굴라 추기 남숨쇼 다니 천다 빼지기 연기 잡아 굴려 유다 요새 삼기 미차와지 초대 토와랑기 둥기는 과곰치나 이미 아니로 미바제지도 티베 검사주로 다니기 나처럼 기름 검도대 좋티 대sem디 아니레 장카마조와 티고디 바다 추조다 쇼말레야네야도 데들로 님베베 데 곰니기 좀 바지 달래 조사치로 또 데티메 마진 다질람미디 수기 지수로 때 셈디 거라기 나나록다 이값수 셈디 민기 근도기 지수만도 루마땡기 지수 마송 때셈 단념 루마땡도 말려봐 지당 거라세와디 세신을 벌로이 챙이세 지당루라 때로로다 대답이냐미 다니다 마저와 조제다지 셈 람밥지 토토자 공수사지로 또 대신 디수베사지로 말레람게름 발레사주고 디론 마쇼 나상아트니 짐벤디기 다공림 도드지 때안벨라비인세.
Now, coming to the practical meditation or demonstration. So meditation can be done in any way with imaginary or with imagination or with visualizing a image or Buddha figurine just above your forehead. Or you can just immerse, you can just meditate looking inward or looking within yourself. Now in the case of first, in the first case, if we are beginner, we can just project or we can visualize a Buddha just in front of your forehead. Buddha in the right position, in the mudra, with sitting on the lotus, supported by the lion throne. So that with this projection, you can visualize, you can meditate, or you can recite the Shakyamuni Buddha mantra. And with this projection, you can practice everywhere. You can practice while seated, or you can practice, or you can visualize while walking also. And in doing so, it is also important, like as mentioned previously, that this body, speech, and mind should be in the right position. Your body in the seven Vajrayana position, your speech purified and free from all impurities. Your mind not indulge or not mix with the wrong views or any ill thoughts or unwholesome thoughts. So this is the basic meditation techniques with projection or with projecting the Buddha image or the big Buddha's figurine just in front of your forehead.
대안이 가처라 또 미텐지로 대고미데 녀만다 자기 뜸바 주비값 gemmochilo 대안이 심치답보다 대 세심까지로도 세상에 기대 모라로 간나보다 대뜸비 꿀로 심도서 대바진 철아지 전년병과 대뜸비 꾸드라 일로된 공세송 대안이기 공길로 기로 주의 대좀배 gembol로 네폴로 주베 마히조 실로 치타베 값소에 대코냐 말레 메시지라 마히 소 공고변되게 대코레sem로 마히드라 대된처라 아니라 곰소다 대코라데 딩이 숨숨베 나와서 대안일레 텐디 대성모 추별로 주의 아니슬로 텐디 대미텐로 땡곰 탑라미디 조와니.
The reason for this the projection or the visualization techniques is based on the Buddha's lessons or the Buddha's teaching. When one of the disciples asked Buddha how to meditate or how to accustom with the meditation, then Buddha answered that which object or who you inspire or who you want to see the most or who you care or love the most, then the disciple answered that I have only you, that is Buddha. Then the Buddha said that means you can just visualize. You just visualize Buddha in your mind or in the forehead of your, in the above of your forehead. Then as instructed, the disciple throughout his life meditated on the Buddha, and it is said he had attained certain realizations. Again, secondly, during the time of Acharya Nagarjuna, he was again asked by a buffalo herder that he wanted to take a meditation, but he can only imagine buffalo, being he was a buffalo herder. Then Acharya Nagarjuna instructed him that you can visualize, just imagining or just thinking of buffalo or projection buffalo. So as instructed, he did, and he attained certain realizations. So this is how, if you visualize or if you project some kind of object that is that is qualified to be your object of realization or to be your object of protection and blessing, then that becomes your source of inspiration and your source of accomplishment.
benangachara de chandi gomdi semginin begomidi decha ngachara semgyani bere patansina da lyunga yi sumsemichi ani zokachu se tachi tashenche tawashin de semzochu de analere bagi de tabe kapsu tensu ani bendi gomdu nyamnendi ushingale so semdilu tennem begomidi ani inse.
So through these stages of gradual practices, through development stage to completion stage, then you will be able to realize that among these three doors, body, speech, and mind. Of course, in initial, we may think that these three are equally important. Body is also important, speech also important, mind also important. But in essence, in reality, the mind is most important, most crucial. It is like a moderator that can tame or that can lead in either way, in a wholesome or in an unwholesome way. So we should always think that this mind is most important, crucial, and we should cherish it.
Semgi rangin shini di lela to toyi ngachara chachap ta thoma maybe dine dilo meba dumi ki semchi di ngo ta shi mashi ki kyaba chiki ngo mashi ba jin kyaba tamebe di ngo shini ki tablo sosa juba jan lubi di ngo shi ba jin kichi izam china lo digi rangin di shi di tu josu da dini sachuru chaya tu jo me dilo rewa maki di male lamgi rimbasulu shuwa machin ngachirigi Dipa jayin jayin tiki rangi dunga to churchano pena si salu yun yu namlu semidi te khara dugi ta dipa tachi tiki rangi dunga to churchano se.
So, in order to purify this mind, it takes time, because what we are today is the accumulation or the result of our, be it purity or impurity of mind. From the beginningless of time, the sentient beings are all remain, or sentient beings are subject to remain in this, the bondage of samsara, if our mind is not pure, if our mind is not purified. And for someone, just by getting into practice, there may be someone who are much wiser and advanced level, that within the short period of the practice, they would be able to purify that mind. It is the matter of just how we are dedicated, how we are diligent, how we are resilient to practice. The more we practice, the lesser our karma becomes. The nearer we approach to our destination. It is not that, it is just matter that how we practice. For instance, a gold buried in the earth for hundreds of years, the essence of gold has not lost, but it is just defiled by the earth outside. But the essence, it is just pure gold. Likewise, the essence and the innate nature of our mind is Buddha nature. If we nurture with practice, meditation, diligence, then one day or another day, or sooner or later, we are able to recognize, or we are able to unveil our innate wisdom or the quality that we possess.
Taani toto gidi tumo lobshidilu tendi gomtap dorji jishu sayi te tumo mayimbi digi limbe washin penanga charagi dacha gitumba sachu gintawa chi in sachuru te chulu niridani damto lo chula soba kawachet te chachu tobi chitu kadebe zigo te ane zumbe nga chara malelam girba nyundo le shudi te digi rimbadi bebe te rimba jinto te tabe chi jogo te tere ashumi te tatumungi lopshi animji te 다들로 다시 들려 세수는 줄 가라로.
So these are the basic practices that the individual of us can approach as a common practices that can be deemed applied to all the practitioners. And for the completion stage, for instance, Buddha Shakyamuni, he has taken 6 years of austerities practice at the bank of Narayana River. And this austerities practices, it somehow signals that how we must dedicate or sacrifice, or how we must put effort ourselves into practice. It is not a self-mortification. It is rather a inspiration, or it is rather a kind of motivation for the sentient beings to lead us through this gradual process, from development stages to completion stages. So with this, to all the participants from across the world who have gathered today here, His Eminence have most auspicious and tashitele for all the participants.